across. Across. It looks like a good morning for us to go out and catch some giraffe. Hey! Almost there. There she goes, eh?
Oh, man.
Yeah! Thank you for this morning. It was absolutely amazing to join you on the flight and just seeing how you sort of manipulate the giraffe and do that. Do you just want to take us, from the engine warming up? I see we had a bit of issues with the engine warming up. Why was that?
In the mornings, we had -2 this morning, so it was quite cold. So all the oil and everything, it's like a bucky you start where it takes a bit of time. Just the same with a helicopter, just need some warm up and then it goes.
Yeah.
It takes some time, and then obviously because it's so cold, we have to wait till the temperatures and pressures are all in limits before we can take off. And then obviously we have to look for the giraffes before we can start, and then obviously the right size. We can't take too big animals; they don't stand properly in the truck.
Yep. Now it was quite amazing for me when we were up there and we were talking over the intercom, and we found the first group of giraffe, and I think there were 9 of them together.
Yeah.
And you were like, okay, now we're going to separate it. And the next thing I knew, we were just like flying in there. It was quite exciting for me. Obviously, you've had a lot of practice with this sort of thing. But are there any special techniques? I know we were having issues with the headwind, but any special techniques in separating the giraffe?
Yeah, so obviously you first look at which where the bigger ones are, where are the younger ones which we want, and then you just because they're moving the whole time, you just wait for the right moment where the younger ones are a little bit further than the bigger ones, and we just try and cut them off.
Okay.
And then you separate the big ones and you just go with the younger ones.
Yeah. And then once they're separated, it's then a question of sort of chasing them in the right direction towards the boma.
Yeah.
And I remember us sort of U-ing around them sort of, and it's the noise of the chopper that's sort of chasing them away, or is it just this object that's in the sky?
So it's actually it's more the noise.
Okay.
So if you come too close to them, they're getting confused from where the noise is. So that's why we're backing off a bit. You saw that they always want to turn back to the herd.
Yeah.
That's why we had the U shape, just keeping them going into the northeastern direction.
Okay.
Where the other ones were more in the southern direction.
Yeah.
The bigger herd was south of the boma, so we had to chase them towards the boma into the northeastern direction, northwestern direction.
All right. So and then we had them separated and we had them moving, and there were a couple of times, like you say, they were trying to head back, but then you came and dropped me off because you needed the chopper to be lightweight for the last section, getting them into the boma. Is that where the flying becomes a bit more tricky and you're a bit more lower to get them moving in the right direction?
Well, definitely. We need every bit of power the helicopter has. So we're not full on fuel. We've got about 30 minutes, 1 hour fuel, minimum fuel, and just to be able to maneuver more quickly. And then it's also a danger. It's a matter of safety. I don't want you, if something should happen, that you're getting involved in there.
Yeah.
So it's only the pilot, and just to minimize the risk, because we're going low between the trees, very low level, tree top high, and to get the most efficient driving technique and just to push them in.
And then once the giraffes sort of enter the funnel, or right at the end of the boma, you send off the siren, which then tells the guys to close the back curtain.
Yeah, it's both ways, just to close the curtains, and also just to give them the last fright, just to run a bit faster.
Okay.
Because they start seeing the cables and the canvas
wall
on the side, so every bit of movement they start to pick up. And then you just need that last bit of push to get them in.
And then the chopper's still there until they get past the second curtain? and then do the guys start taking over and chasing them down the funnel?
Yeah, so I'm just waiting for all the guys to regroup, and then after the second curtain, the helicopter starts to get back, and the guys take over.
And so, in essence, I mean, we captured, what, 14 giraffe this morning?
Yeah.
From your side, with the chopper flying, did everything run smoothly? I mean, it seemed like you took off, and within 20 minutes, giraffe were running into the boma, which is, I mean, easy. So, I mean, I'm sure it can get difficult at times.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we were lucky this morning.
Yeah.
Everything went smooth.
Yeah.
So last week we did another capture where we did the same amount of giraffes over 2 days.
Yeah.
So you can just imagine it's much slower, much less efficient. But the more efficient you can be, the better for us and the animals. Less stress on the animals.
Yeah.
For us, quicker to be done. Less burning fuel, and the guys we can move on to the next job.
Yeah. So I mean, Dirk, we were absolutely amazed by your flying skills, and just your professionalism around the giraffe, but the setting up of the boma, and getting the giraffe in there. So, you know, from Ultimate Safaris and the Conservation Travel Foundation, along with GCF, Giraffe Conservation Foundation, we just want to thank you for this morning. That's the little solar panel, and because the giraffe is active, the giraffe is active during the day, the battery gets charged and gets expands the lifespan of the battery, which is really cool. And this has no impact on the giraffe. There's no blood vessels. Because it's a female, she doesn't use her ossicones for fighting. With the males, we see that sometimes they break them off. The giraffe's safety is always of high importance to you when you're darting it, when it's down on the ground. So, I mean, you're keeping an eye on it. What are you looking for to make sure that it's healthy, its breathing pattern?
The main thing is to see that the breathing is good. If the main effect of the drugs is to reduce breathing, and then the heart as well. But if the breathing is good, the heart invariably is good. Because the giraffe is fully awake, we don't try and feel too much for pulses and so on. Any stimulus is always stimulating the giraffe. And with the breathing, one can watch it nicely. You know, the abdomen's got a nice constant breathe.
Yeah.
Respiration rate, we know the animal is fine.
So,
and then also a little bit of twitching on the
ears and the kicking, you know it's alive and well.
Look at the gums and for color, to see that they're nice and pink, and eyes, sort of eye reflex and so on, we track that in between. So
then obviously, you know, the whole time we're working on the animal is actually fully awake, and that's why you see it kick sometimes. It's sort of trying to fight its way out, but the guys have got it down. And then, you know, you sort of do a final check over it, the collar is attached, and the guys stand off of the neck, and this, you know, majestic giraffe stands up, you know, tall in front of you guys. What are you looking for then, just to make sure that the giraffe is fully awake and doesn't have any more effects of the drug?
There'll always be a little bit of drug effect, but mainly that it gets up, you know, puts the head up now so you can see the ears are alert. Once the blindfolds are off, the eyes have to accommodate back to light, so we often take the blindfold off a bit before we actually pick up the head. And giraffe are strange. Most animals we mobilize and keep them under until we finish with the procedure and then antidote. Giraffe, because of their respiration, we antidote immediately. And once we release the head and it's up, you normally see they're alert and they're ready to get up. Doing it in a confined space like a boma is a bit of a challenge, because normally the giraffe's got sort of free movement to
get itself
up
going.
And get its balance.
The giraffe are just going past us, so we've got 14 giraffe that are going to be driving past us. Absolutely amazing to be a part of this sort of project and see these giraffe start their journey from private land to communal conservancy land is absolutely fantastic. So it's exciting to be a part of this, and I'm sure, you know, when you're about to pull the trigger, your blood must be racing and you're starting to get a bit excited. I know you have to stay calm, but H.O., thank you very much for doing your part in conservation. It's a pleasure, and we'll look forward to working with you again.
Thank you. It's
Awesome.
always a pleasure working with you guys as well.